Again, my name is Stanimir Markov. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Runecast. Here we're going to just take a look at how Runecast Analyzer fits into your data center and how exactly it works. So I'm just going to use the whiteboard for this. So these are some of the concepts that we already covered on the previous slides, but I just want to make sure that we have them all understood, and let me know if you have any questions. So first of all, we are using different sources of truth when we create the rules that are running in your environment that discover potential risks. And some of the most important ones, the most important one actually is the VMware knowledge base. And the VMware knowledge base is really changing all the time. We are crawling it even as we speak right now. We have an internal system, internal product that is notifying us anytime when there is a new knowledge base article or old one that has been updated. And that internal system is also classifying these knowledge base articles and is helping us to a certain extent to parse them into rules. We have introduced some NLP and AI that we're going to work on more and more, but this is for the internal system that is actually used for the knowledge parsing. Another interesting thing that we do is that we're monitoring some popular blog platforms and forums. So we are monitoring social media, and we add from time to time issues that have been discovered by somebody out there, but they're not documented yet in the VMware knowledge base. We had cases that VMware captures that and documents it maybe after a month or two. But of course, the vulnerability or the issue is out there. So our customers can make sure that they're protected by running the updated version of Runecast Analyzer at all times. We are covering security hardening guides. So basically, all of those spreadsheets that you see on the official VMware page that are related to any version of Vsphere or NSX, that's something that we automate as well, so you get continuous reports on that. And speaking about security, we are doing, as mentioned currently, Pci Dss, this is TIG, and we implemented best practices as well from various different documents. And actually, best practices, I mean, for somebody that's experienced, of course, you would probably know all of them. I would say that maybe not everybody is a V-expert. I think one of the things that's recognized about the Runecast Analyzer is the educational value of it, because when you have a discovered misalignment with the best practice, we explain why is this a best practice, and we also provide a link for people to read more about it. So I think that's quite helpful as well. We take all of that information, we parse it with our internal system, but also with our team of certified professionals. So I would say that it's a AI-assisted method. So we're using a little bit of AI where we're going to develop these NLP modules more and more so that we can be even faster in that. All the rules are being posted, all the updates in Runecast Central repository. Which is used by the individual Runecast Analyzer instances that are running on customer premises to update themselves continuously with the latest update from the Runecast Central repository. So Runecast is running usually, so you could have it running everywhere, right? You could have it also on VMware Cloud on AWS or even on your laptop. It is going to run. Usually, it's recommended to import it into your environment on one of the ESXi hosts. It's one single virtual machine, which comes in 3 different sizes. So when you're deploying, depending on the size of your environment, then you can select a different size in terms of CPU and memory for that virtual machine. Once you deploy it, set up the IP address, then you can already connect it to your vCenter servers and to the NSX managers. Then it will discover the whole environment from there. So all the hosts, virtual machines, port groups, or all the NSX controllers, distributed firewall, routers, and so on. And all the analysis is done within Runecast Analyzer. So even if you disconnect it from the internet, it will just keep running. It will provide you with all the valuable insights. As mentioned, you just need to update it in offline mode in that case. So let's say this is our admin here. You need to download an ISO package from the central repository and apply it or attach it as a virtual CD-ROM to the Runecast Analyzer virtual machine and perform the update this way. Or you can just have an online update. You can even configure it to run over a proxy with authentication. You can configure it to run automatically so you don't have to touch that part at all. It will just update itself with the latest issues or the latest code anytime when it's posted on the Runecast central repository. So we have separated the updates for Runecast Analyzer. They're granular now. We have updates for the knowledge definitions, so new rules that we're introducing, and also for the code and internal packages of the Runecast Analyzer appliance, anything related to the application or the OS. So this is really enabling us to be able to publish new rules in a very fast fashion. In terms of interfaces that you're going to see also later on, you have a standard web interface that you can use to access Runecast Analyzer and configure it. Also, we do provide full REST API. So pretty much anything that you can do in the graphic user interface, you can automate through API. In order to help you consume the API in an even easier way, we created a VRO plugin. So you can use the VRO plugin to Runecast VRO plugin to create additional automation workflows, for example, for remediation of some of the KBs if you'd like, to create these workflows that leverage the API. Also, we created the web client plugin for the vCenter web client. It's in hybrid mode, so it works both with the HTML5 and Flash version of the web client. Which is great because pretty much anywhere that you click on your vCenter web client, you can see in the monitoring tab under Runecast issues, you can see what kind of issues are detected for that specific object, whether it's an ESXi host or virtual machine or port group. Okay, let me see if I showed you also the NSX Manager custom widget. So there's a piece here that where you also will be able to see the information from Runecast Analyzer. Actually, there's one more interface. It's just a console interface. Let's call this UI. That's the place where you configure the updates, whether you want automatic or manual updates and offline or online updates. And you configure also the IP address of the appliance, DNS, and so on. Okay. So on this part, just to complete the picture, we are analyzing Vsphere, so your compute, NSX, and vSAN. A lot of the issues that we detect are, especially when it comes to knowledge base articles, are multidimensional. And what I mean by that is that a knowledge base article can state something like, if you have a specific hardware model or CPU model of that server and certain firmware level, plus if you have virtual machines running on that host with some advanced settings, and maybe they're attached to a distributed switch with some other settings, then you might run into a certain problem, like, for example, purple screen of death. So this involves several different objects that are interdependent and that have certain conditions. So this, I just wanted to demonstrate to you the complexity of the analysis that Runecast Analyzer actually does. Sometimes for one single analysis, if you have a few hundred hosts, we have to do over 1 million checks to make sure we accurately report what are the real risks in your environment. Because we have to actually, for every KB, isolate a group of interdependent objects that correspond to certain conditions in your environment.
This might be a bit early on, but for the MSP we've got in terms of licensing, have you considered a central portal for managed service providers to be able to see the install of Runecast across their customer base? Similar to like Pure One or what Nimble were doing with InfoSight, having that come into a SaaS platform or even a Runecast appliance that the MSP can host and have that data come back in, saves me logging into 30, 40, 50 environments. Yeah. Into Runecast, into each one of those to look at the issues.
Yeah, we've had such requests coming in. Maybe we can also discuss after the session for the exact requirements. We did some tests we create some custom dashboards. It's not in production yet, but we are definitely considering to release something official for MSPs.
Cool.
Yeah. Thank you. All right.
You have to put some, I mean, because the collection is so robust, you'd have to put some whitewashing in on each of those instances before you could collect that up into a centralized repository. Mm-hmm. Some of that data you want to make sure stays within your own environment.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely.